Our Parliament's Ethics Committee has cleared ANC MP Thulas Nxesi of any wrongdoing following a state capture probe. The minister and 3 other MPs were accused of benefiting from state capture. Nxesi was referred to the committee by the Speaker of the National Assembly in relation to payments made by controversial tenderpreneur Edwin Sodi's company Blackhead Consulting and Diamond Hill Trading Joint Venture after it was awarded a tender to remove asbestos from houses in the Free State. Parliament has come out to say that there's no evidence that Nxesi actually received these payments. For more on this and for his reaction, the Minister joins us now via our video link. And Minister Nxesi, it's great to have you on the program. Thanks very much indeed for making time. You know, even when these allegations emerged at the State Capture Commission of Inquiry, you actually deposed an affidavit there explaining that this money was not directly paid to you, but was actually as part of a fundraising for the benefit of 2 families. Are you able to take us through the nature of the evidence that you gave to this committee to try to prove your innocence?
Thank you very much, Ayanda. The nature of the evidence which I gave was exactly the same document which I submitted to the Zondo Commission. And simply saying, I never received any money, but I did try to fundraise for these children, who were the children of the comrades who passed on. Comrade Ngwenda, who was the General Secretary of NUMSA, and Comrade Butelezi, who was the General Secretary of the chemical workers. And all I said is, here are the account numbers where this thing was, the money was deposited. It's the schools, it's the boarding of those 2 kids. That was very simple evidence which I had submitted. I do not understand how did it happen that people decided to say I benefited on that. That's the evidence I submitted in Parliament.
And I suppose there are other people who are wondering how your name came up to begin with. You say that the only reason why your name was even mentioned was because your name was used as a reference for these payments.
It's fine. My name was used as a reference, but I contacted a number of people, including my own contributions, by the way, towards the education of those kids. And it's fine. I've never denied that I've gone to look for the money, not just from Mr. Sodi. I've approached a number of people in relation to this, and he's the one, amongst others, who responded positively. But of course, what we must accept is that we must welcome that that nobody in our constitutional democracy is above the law, and we must all, from time to time, subject ourselves to such scrutiny, and without fear or any favor. And I think the National Legislative or Legislature Committee on the Ethics and the Members' Interest have concluded the investigations and into the allegations whether I've benefited from corrupt dealings, which were highlighted in the state capture. And maybe we must say the investigation was necessary, as we must be beyond reproach as leaders to ensure there's no trust deficit from the citizens.
Right.
I was happy then as a person that Parliament took an action as recommended by Justice Zondo, which had not been conclusive on the allegations against me.
In that spirit, Minister, I suppose then it goes without saying that you'd also welcome any other investigation that would be launched if there are people who believe that this finding by Parliament's Ethics Committee doesn't necessarily put the issue to bed.
Well, it's up to them if they think that they have further information. And all I did, and I want to emphasize, I simply asked a business person to help the needy people pay for the student fees, and he did so. And no cent was to my benefit whatsoever. I therefore did not benefit from these corrupt dealings. And I'm happy the matter has now been concluded. But if there are people, and my name has been cleared, who want to take it further, they can continue so that we understand exactly what is their agenda. We won't stop it. We won't stop it. We will cooperate like we have done. I would not think that it's necessary to resist, like it was necessary for the Justice Zondo to probe as part of ensuring that no stone was left unturned.
Yeah, absolutely. Apologies there, Minister. You know, there's always that saying around how hindsight is 20/20. You know, things are always in better perspective when we're able to look back. And I suppose you've also had your own reflections around how things could have turned out differently. Now that we're here, do you regret actually approaching Edwin Sodi for this kind of assistance, especially given what we now know about his own allegations when it comes to corruption and maladministration in other issues?
I don't want to be dragged there. I did a fundraising for these children, and I needed anybody, that it was Sodi or it was somebody else, as long as the transaction was proper. I can't pass the judgment on Mr. Sodi, because this matter, I think, is still going into the courts. But all I did, insofar as I'm concerned, there was nothing criminal in what I did. I stand there and those kids benefited, including my own resources. By the way, I didn't approach this person because I knew him. I met these people in a business meeting, and then I talked to some of them, and some of them responded. I mean, one of them responded. It's as simple as that.
Is it though, Minister? I mean, you know, because, I mean, at the very least, look at what's taken place. Surely, at the very least, you agreed in principle that it's important to make sure that the people we interact with, even for noble ends, aren't people who are mired in controversy in other aspects of their lives.
So what do you want me to say? Do you want me to say I regret? I'm not going to say that. My actions were just clear, intended to help those kids. That it was Mr. Sodi or whatever, I'm not party to that. I am not party to that. I cannot make the judgment and say I regret and so on, because this matter is being ventilated in the courts.
All right,
I'm not there to condemn.
I think you've answered my question, Minister. But while I have you on the line, I'm sure I can engage you on other issues of national importance. Yesterday, the ANC in Gauteng held a media briefing on a wide range of issues. And part of what they mentioned is that they're hoping to introduce what they're calling quotas for the hiring of foreign nationals in government-owned entities. It's still a proposal. I think they are yet to engage government at a national level. But what would be your initial response to a proposal like that, given the many issues we face around migration and unemployment in this country?
We've debated this matter. This has been a very sensitive topic. That's why we have to deal with it very carefully. That's why we have to do the intensive consultations. We started this process long ago, helped by the ILO, helped by a number of experts in the field, and also informed by the decision of the SADC region, the labor ministers, that there should be migration policies which are based on the ILO principles, which are based on what the region feels, and accepting that we are dealing with an integration of the economy. And this movement of people or movement of goods and services also implies that there will be movement of people. And what we are saying, part of that is a balanced approach to say we must ensure that we respect the rights of every person in terms of the Constitution and international conventions we have signed. What we are saying is we are listening to this, but our proposal already are saying let's balance that. How do you balance that? Set quotas per sector, but it's not one size fits all. Those quotas will be discussed with the sectors or with the stakeholders in the sectors, where you can say, maybe in this sector, you can employ a particular percentage of foreign nationals. In this sector, you can't employ so much. But in all that, what we need to emphasize is we must not allow the companies or the employers to employ the foreign nationals for the sake of exploiting them, undermining the labor laws, and also undermining collective bargaining agreements.
Right.
That is our approach. So we will be discussing the setting up of the quotas. They will not be imposed. They will be a product of discussion before the minister pronounces. Already then, that discussion is ready for us to go back to the cabinet, and then we set the quotas.
Thulas Nxesi, thanks very much indeed for your time. I appreciate it. Thulas Nxesi is an ANC MP, but also speaking to us there in his capacity as the Minister for Labour and Employment. Once again, thanks very much indeed.